45 years ago, the world was introduced to the Atkins diet. Today, the nutrition world is all abuzz about the ketogenic diet. In this video, we are going to point out the similarities and differences between the Atkins diet and ketogenic diet. Hi, I'm Dr. Becky. I am a college instructor of the science of nutrition.
And I'm Dr. Keith. I'm a chiropractor in private practice for the past 26 years. And you're watching Two Fit Docs, where we turn weight loss resistance into weight loss results.
And we've done that watching Keith as he has followed a ketogenic diet. He lost 69 pounds over 8 months, live right in front of you guys. And you can binge watch those videos to watch his progress if you'd like. Last week we went to Bloomsburg University where you had a DEXA scan to get a really accurate idea of what your body fat is, and it was?
22%.
Right, which was not quite what you were expecting. You were hoping your goal is
shooting to hit 10%, which I thought I had done.
Right. Okay. So we're back. You're back. Really
on the keto train.
All right. So working real hard, and you can follow his progress. Again, it's been fun to watch up to this point, so it'll be fun to watch now.
Check in every week and see how it's going, just like we did before.
Right. But for this video, we get a lot of questions about Atkins, and that always kind of comes into conversations as Keith talks about his diet. So we wanted to point out the similarities and differences, and so. There's 4 things that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about how they stack up with nutrients. So carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and fiber. All right, ready?
Yep.
All right, so Atkins on carbs, what was his take?
He was very much thought that carbs were the big reason that we've got most of the disease processes going on. So in his diet, he was actually very, very strict. The first week or two would be 0 carbs. Mm-hmm. And 0 carbs, no counting of calories or anything. And we'll talk about a little bit more about the fats and things, but 0 carbs.
Yeah, so that was what he referred to as the induction process, which was about a 2-week process. And it was quite a shock to a lot of people. I think a lot of people lost the Atkins diet, or that were a lot of the criticism, I think, that Atkins, because it was such a low carbohydrate intake. Now your diet, you keep your carbs very low, but what do you keep them at?
I try to keep them at 30 or below because that seems to keep me in ketosis. Dr. Atkins said that it'd probably be anywhere from 20 to 40 depending on the individual. So there probably is some individual variability in there.
Right, but the Atkins and ketogenic of today, both very low carbohydrate diets. Yep. All right, so that's carbohydrates. Let's go ahead and touch on protein. What your ketogenic diet? We keep it at a moderate protein level, not real high. What did Atkins do?
Atkins really didn't touch on protein too much. In fact, I would guess that if you were to break down some of his meal plans, that they were actually higher in protein because he did advocate a lot of meat and fish and poultry, dairy proteins and things like that. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know. That was 45 years ago. Obviously, some of the science has caught up. He never really talked about gluconeogenesis, about protein, being changed into glucose. Although he did say that your body does need a little bit of glucose in the bloodstream just to function, but it can get plenty of what it needs from metabolizing fat and the protein, that you're getting in your diet. So he was at least, I think, aware of it, but he didn't really look at that as an issue.
Right. So today, maybe the only difference that we see from Atkins to ketogenic diet is that we understand the science of the body a little bit more and how it handles protein. So if you're eating too much protein and you're not utilizing that because you're a bodybuilder or very active, or you're sick and fighting off whatever things that utilize a lot of protein, that excess protein could get turned into glucose by your liver, and that could set you back and trying to get into ketosis. All right, so let's talk about fat.
Okay.
Fat is a big part of your diet for hunger satisfaction and for keeping your insulin low to keep your body in a fat-burning state.
Right.
You keep your fat intake at 70% of your calories or higher.
Yeah.
How does that differ from what Atkins had talked about?
It's pretty similar. Atkins was big on keeping your fat intake high, using fats and oils and cooking a lot. He didn't differentiate on saturated, unsaturated, any of that, which I think got him into part of the hot water that he got into 45 years ago because the world was fat was evil. But he doesn't really go into like percentages in his plan. He just wants you to eat a lot of full fat dairy, high fat meats, butter on your salmon. It's got some pretty delicious recipes, but yeah.
Well, you know what? So let's touch on calories a little bit before we go into fiber.
Right.
So calories, you do watch your calories. You log all of your food.
I do.
And you do watch your calories. You tend to keep them around
1,500 to 1,700.
Okay. Atkins, what was his take on calories and calorie counting?
There's one thing that he didn't really talk about, calorie counting, because his point was that because of the hunger satisfying the eating the high fat foods, that you would naturally just get whatever you needed to get. And I don't think he mentioned at one time that anybody who gained weight on his program. Although I certainly think it's possible, but it is kind of difficult to overeat. He also talked about, and I'm not sure if this is totally accurate. Again, it's 45 years ago. We talked about ketones. Actually, when we breathe them out or they come out in our urine, that those are energy molecules, so that we're actually expelling some calories in our breath and our urine, and that could count for the fact that we could eat more and still lose weight because we're getting rid of calories.
Yeah. So even 45 years ago, he was talking about ketones.
He was. Yeah.
So definitely a pioneer.
Definitely. Yeah. He was. I think way ahead of his time. He also talks about when your insulin is high, it shuts off the release of fat mobilizing hormone from your pituitary. Now, nowadays we know that it's not fat metabolite. We now have leptin and ghrelin and adiponectin. So there's been a lot of updates in the science. Still, what he was onto was right on the mark.
Right. And let's just touch on fiber real quick. We try to keep fiber in your diet. Try to get up to at least 20, up to even 30 grams of fiber. How did Atkins look at fiber?
He touched on a little bit. He recommended having a good green leafy salad with lunch and dinner, so that you could get what he called roughage, which was the old term.
Right.
And also some of the minerals and vitamins from the vegetables.
Okay.
But no starchy vegetables. It's very typical of what the ketogenic diet is now. But he did touch on that a little bit, not a major point.
Well, I think today we know a little bit more about fiber too, and its role in not only your ability to lose weight, because it does help to stabilize blood sugar and things like that, but also in colon health and things like that. So it is a vital nutrient that we now keep in at least our ketogenic diet.
Right.
So there you go. Actually, a lot of similarities, I think.
There are, and we should touch on it when we tell somebody that we're on a high-fat, high-fiber diet. A lot of times we get this kind of, oh, is it the Atkins? And it's almost like in a negative tone. That's why we wanted to look at this and see what the differences were and see where he was coming from. He was just ahead of his time. He wasn't, I don't think he was acknowledged for the advancements in dietary science that he really made.
Right. It was a little too foreign at the time, which led Atkins to get a bad reputation. And now today, we're kind of embracing ketogenic diet, but yet he was talking about many of these principles back then.
Yeah.
So there you go. That is the kind of the comparison of Atkins diet to a ketogenic diet. Keith has been following a ketogenic diet to get his weight loss results. If you'd like to know what he has cut out of his diet and put into his diet, and how he keeps fiber in his diet, we put together a starter kit that shares all of that, and you can download that if you'd like. And
all right, make sure you subscribe to our channel so that you can keep up with my progress and what's going on. If you've got anything that you'd like to, I think, have us touch upon, please put it in the comments. We'd appreciate hearing that. Tune in next week, and we'll see where my progress is moving towards my new goal.
on the way to 10%.
On the way to 10%.
All right, see ya.